There are very few games out in the world that actually take over a person's life. Football Manager just happens to be one of them. And when a new game is launched, it can sometimes split the community in two. Football Manager 26 is no different. The game Football Manager has to move into the future. It has to reach a wider audience of players. And for that reason, I'm all in favor of it being portable onto the console. However, it cannot lose the ethos that made this game great. Its depth, its quality of life features, the immersion level that you get as a football manager. Those have to be the same for the console version as it is for the PC version. I am playing this version of the game as I have definitely added some quality of life changes to the game, and I'm hoping they will add some more. If you go down to preferences and you go down to detail and hit audio and visual, you will quickly come across the option to give your attributes different color schemes. Now, this is great for people who are colorblind as well as having issues with glaucoma, and this is fantastic for me. Then they've also given us the option to make the transition of the UI elements faster, which is fantastic if you're the sort that wants them. That's me. So I'm going to obviously choose that. Now, when you go into the game, this is where some of us in the community feel a bit off. I mean, I've read reports on how we don't feel part of the wider world, and I don't think that is warranted because you're not so separated from the wider world. If you go to the news site, depending on the leagues you've got set as playable, you can go around the world with one click and see news. So we could get news from any league in the world, provided those are playable. Here, as you see, I'm playing in Serie A, but I'm getting news on France. I've got transfers. You can click on transfers and check out any of the transfers that you are interested in from different leagues in the world. Here we have another great feature in Football Manager 26, your ability to influence how your team is going to be playing the next game. Now I'm playing a strikerless system where I want to focus on the final third. Now if I were playing a team that's much better than me, maybe I want to focus on the defensive side of the game. I'd focus on the low block, making sure that when my team sits back to defend, they defend well. If I'm playing against a weaker team, I could focus on the high press and not let them out because I want to score lots of goals and I want to focus on getting goals in the final third or good transitions in the final third. And this is a feature that I think is huge in the game. It's really gone under the radar for many people. I've been using it a lot and I believe it's really impacting how my team plays in matches. Tactical advice is also a lot better for the new player when he's playing Football Manager. If they're not into diving into the data hub to find out how another team is playing, they can always depend on the assistant manager, provided his tactical knowledge is good. Then what you could get is advice like this. Like, we are going to be playing Udinese next, and our assistant manager has basically told us that they concede a high number of chances if teams are focusing down their right side. So here, if you focus down our left side, we should create a lot of chances, and you could actually apply the focus play to that side of the pitch to force errors from the team. Great way of setting up your next game, and it's a great feature in the game. When it comes to the youth team, you've got no say on the tactics they use or the training schedules that they employ as of me doing the show. Things could change next week. I have no idea with SI these days. But what you can do in the game is go to your youth team and give them individual training. So you can still definitely influence how they develop. You just can't set up a broad strategy for the whole team, which might sound annoying, but I can sense that for the majority of people, they don't really dive into training so much when they are playing this game anyway. I, for one, do not think it's a game breaker. It might be in terms of immersion level, but there are bigger things that are missing in the game that affect your immersion than the ability to choose the training schedules for your youth team. And these have all to do with the match day experience. There are certain features in the game that are kind of cool. In possession, out of possession, but they're not like game changing for me. What I find to be a bit annoying is the fact that you cannot save your starting 11. Then, if you go into this game, you'll be able to choose your players by mousing over to find out the attributes, which is kind of nice until you get into a game. Matchday graphics are certainly an improvement from Football Manager 24. once you start playing, you can easily get lost in the whole experience because it isn't that bad. But if you choose to make a tactical change and you want to bring somebody off, that's when the nightmare starts. If you're managing a team you already know, it's not an issue because you probably know the players really well. But if you're going to some league you've never been to before with players you can't even pronounce their names, then there is no way for you to tell what their attributes are unless you know they're in the starting 11. Here you can see their attributes. Yeah, useful. But if you go to any other player, if you're gonna bring them off the bench, you're like, okay, no clue. You got no clue. You've got no clue. You've got no clue. It is singularly the most annoying thing in the game. As I did my wife call you to ask you to incorporate features to help me with my memory? Because now I have to memorize the starting 11 and my bench, which is annoying. I do expect SI to eventually fix this by giving us the I button for the whole squad on match day because I can't believe this escaped their attention unless, of course, they only play with their favorite teams. There's nothing wrong with the graphics in the game. I do like them. They're nice. They're chill. The colors are rich, vibrant. But the match day experience, it's not fantastic. I can't influence my players by shouting at them anymore. I can't tell who's being lazy on the pitch like I used to in the old days of body language, which, I never really cared about, but now I suddenly miss them a lot. The match engine itself, I'm just putting this out there because, look, it's not hard to win Football Manager 26 right now. There's no effort required. For most of these tactics, you just plunk in a tactic, go to sleep, and you're going to win the title. And before someone says these tactical systems are unrealistic, I want to point out that it wasn't me who created in possession, out of possession shapes. It was SI who decided to give it to us. I'm just using the tools you've given me. Is the game incredibly difficult to master? No. The same things that made FM24 strong are still strong in Football Manager 26, except we've got one more new thing. It's called dribbling. So if your players are really good on the dribble, they're just going to tear teams apart. In fact, they're making the dribbling numbers in the game look ridiculously high compared to what they're like in real life. Football Manager 26 is an entertaining game. Of that, I have no doubt. However, when it comes to data, I can't say the same thing. The data hub, while every single tile still works in the data hub, there are some tiles that make me smile, especially this one. SI cannot come out and tell us that the data hub is giving us fantastic information when it's actually bugged. This is a bugged screen. If you don't know why it's bugged, then you don't use the data hub very often, and you can comfortably continue living in bliss. For those of us who understand data, it's incredibly annoying because it is giving us the wrong information. And if you are going to read this to determine how your tactic is doing, then you're going to be sent down the wrong rabbit hole. This information is wrong. You actually need to look at the chart and intelligently figure it out for yourself. Yes, we are a team that allow fewer passes against us in the final third while we generate lots of passes for ourselves in their third. That's what the graph is, or this tile is showing us. Unfortunately for us, it's a feature in the game that the SI need to address. Football Manager 26 is a decent game. It's not a great game. It's high on promise but low on substance. There are bugs in the data hub. Just take a look at pitch tilt. If you don't understand what's wrong with pitch tilt, you're probably in the majority of players who don't use it. And which is the reason why the data hub didn't get so much attention this year. The only thing I feel the SI fixed was making sure that all the tiles showed up. Whether the tiles were accurate or not was besides the point. Sports Interactive have stripped Football Manager of its humanity. Yeah, it's gone. The immersion level is gone. No body language, no shouts. There's nothing in the game that makes you feel that attachment to players anymore. Now you can't go in and tell how you want these kids to develop. You have to depend on them coming to you in a certain way. You can influence it with individual training, but that's about it. And then when it comes to tactics, it's just putting the tactic, go, win, rinse, repeat, and come back. And then you watch the games, and there's nothing you can do. I mean, like, you can't even look at the attributes of a player before you bring him on. You might be able to talk to him before you bring him on, but that's about it. But once he's on the pitch, you can't tell whether the player is complacent, whether he's nervous. That's gone. It's such an amazing about turn from Football Manager. And it's making me feel that why would I want to spend more time on this game? That's exactly why I feel when I play this game. When I play the game, there's no hook anymore to keep me playing the game for 10 hours. I normally now only play the game for 1 hour, and I go and do something else because there's no, let me just stay here for another hour and see what happens. That used to be the case with Football Manager. It's no longer the case now. And I'm hoping that as I bring the humanity back into the game,